What is up, guys? Nick from P2W Fantasy. What we got going on today? Little mock draft. I have a draft this weekend, and it's that time of year for redraft. So why not go through some picks and the whys behind the picks that I'm going to make? I'm at my work office, so the mic quality is not always the best, but we'll deal with it. And trying to figure out where my actual camera angle is coming from because I have some monitors, but the focus will be on the screen here. So let's get into that. So what I got going on this weekend is a unique home draft. It's unique because it's a kind of your typical league where you have a one quarterback. I have a defense and a kicker in there as well. Two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end, and then I also have three flexes. I thought that was interesting. So you can start three flexes in this, and I feel like that made it a little bit more fun to have more guys in the starting lineup, and there might be some strategy added to that. So this is going off of a draft that I have this Saturday with some guys back home. It's got a 12-person draft, and I drew the second position. So again, it's just a redraft league for the 2021 season. We'll see what Fantasy Pros gives us for a grade. All right, so CMC first off the board. Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, Devontae Adams are the suggested. In my mind, I'm not thinking about anything other than the running back position, so that adds Derrick Henry in the mix as well. For me, easy choice for the 102. Who do I feel is going to have the most touches for the running back position? So touches being rushing attempts and catches. And I think the highest ceiling right now out of these guys right here for that, even though Kamara was excellent last year, is Dalvin Cook. He's going to get a ton of volume in the passing game. He's going to rush the ball a ton, and he's not in any sort of committee mix. Neither, are the rest of these guys here. But again, I'm looking for the highest amount of touches, and for me, easy choice, Dalvin Cook. All right, so decent amount of running backs went off the board, a handful of wide receivers as well. My second pick, I would be juggling between three things, either taking an elite tight end, an elite wide receiver, or pairing my roster Dalvin Cook with another running back. For me, I'm going to go with the elite tight end strategy, seeing the massive volume that Darren Waller had last year. He was, kind of close he was the closest, I guess, to Travis Kelce, who obviously is off the board right now. He had a ton of receptions. He had a ton of looks in the red zone, which is great. The yardage is going to be there. Darren Waller, again, is a positional advantage. They are projecting George Kittle to have similar points, but for me, Darren Waller is my clear-cut tight end 2. I think there's a bit of a drop-off after that. Not a ton. George Kittle for me is 3, but I don't really juggle these two personally. I think that Darren Waller is going to be the guy by a landslide for the passing work with the Raiders. And again, I love the looks last year in the red zone. I love the athleticism that gets him the yardage. So I'm looking to get a positional advantage here at the tight end position. So Darren Waller is going to be my guy, and I'm going to see who else falls to my next pick, which should be close because I'm at the beginning of this the draft here, and it went snake back to the 102. So with my second rounder, I'm going to go Darren Waller. Okay, so I can balance things out by going, an elite wide receiver right now, but I think I want to be a little bit safer at the running back position. I would have liked CEH, who ended up going right after Swift is another guy I usually target around this area, but he went a handful of picks back at the 207. So Waller at 211. I would say it would have to do, it'd have to be someone between Keenan Allen. I like Terry McLaurin. I like CeeDee Lamb, what those guys can do. Season with CeeDee Lamb being a sophomore and having his quarterback back after injury. Terry McLaurin's got the best quarterback. Allen Robinson might have Justin Field, Keenan Allen, sophomore year of Justin Herbert. Big perks for these guys, but the wide receiver position is so deep that I want to go to a running back here. And James Robinson, obviously, stock is up because of the Travis Etienne injury. Chris Carson's a guy that gets slept on, and he's going to get a ton of work this year. J.K. Dobbins showed great flashes towards the end of the season when he was actually winning the job. Dave Montgomery is very interesting just because I think that the passing volume is still going to be there with Tariq Cohen really not on track right now. Last year, it was a weaker schedule at the end, but at the same time, you got to go out and do it. We saw plenty of guys that had poor games against poor defenses. So I'm actually going to go David Montgomery here. I'm not being a Bears homer. But again, I think he's got clear-cut volume in his path for this season, so I'm going to go with him. And then just seeing everybody off the board, the next set of running backs is Mike Davis, Darrell Henderson, Myles Gaskin, Kareem Hunt. So these guys can be successful, but to me, a good drop-off. So I'm going to pivot and move on to, the wide receiver position and focus there from now on. So quarterback, to me, too early. Obviously, guys like Kyler, Lamar Jackson, Dak, Russell Wilson would be nice to have on your team, but we got to fill out other positions now. And between what's on the board here, DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett, T. Higgins, Adam Thielen. I like T. Higgins a lot. I really do. I like what he did last season. I don't think Jamar Chase kills his value whatsoever. Tyler Lockett has the ceiling to have those massive weeks like we saw this past season. But the inconsistencies at times I'm not really about that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't draft him, but I just don't really like the major ups and downs weeks, and he's not the wide receiver one. DJ Moore, I'm a big fan of. I think his ceiling is high. The depth of throws to him is with Sam Darnold's big arm could be solid, but I think they're going to use him a little bit more consistently in other areas of the field this year. Robbie Anderson's back with Sam Darnold, but I'm pretty sure the last time them two played together, Sam Darnold to Robbie Anderson wasn't the best combination. I think it might have been Crowder during that time. So it's not like Robbie Anderson was his favorite guy, he's ever played with or anything like that. And I think DJ Moore being a former first-round draft pick, having such talent with a new quarterback coming into the system, I do have hopes for him. I think he can beat his ADP that he currently has right now, and I'm optimistic for him, so I'm actually going to go DJ Moore here. All right, so looking to fill that wide receiver position still. Again, could we go grab an elite quarterback? Yes, but it's not necessary right now. We want to use our picks to the optimum here, I guess. So to me, it's between Tyler Lockett and Higgins. Thielen's been solid the last 2-3 years. It's just I feel like he's just not an immediate go grab him right here at this spot. Ayuk, a lot of people really like Ayuk and what he was able to do last season. Jamar Chase is on the board, who a lot of people like, but has had a pretty questionable camp. Nothing really pops for him right now. So I think it's between T. Higgins and Tyler Lockett for me. And I really liked what T. Higgins did this past season, even without his starting quarterback. And even though it's quote unquote a crowded wide receiver room with Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase, he's an interesting pick right here. I think I'm going to go T. Higgins. I think I'm going to go T. Higgins over Tyler Lockett. All right, let's check on that quarterback position. So starting to see a drop off. A couple guys went. I still think that there's plenty of talent on the board for a one quarterback league, that it's not a need right now. And we have all those flex positions. So I'm going to pivot away from that and take a look at some other spots here. Damien Harris is interesting because, Sony Michel's out of there. Ramondre Stevenson looks good, but it looks like Damien Harris's job. Raheem Mostert, I think, just got banged up again, and I'm not really into that right now of, having a question. Is he going to be the guy? What's his status going to be? Is Trey Sermon going to take over? Michael Carter's been super quiet. I liked him a lot, but if a guy's that quiet in camp and he's got every opportunity to take the lead, then I'm concerned. Going here, I already took T. Higgins, so, that would cap my ceiling if Tyler Boyd's on my team, who I really, really like. But, both guys can't score a touchdown on the same play, so that caps the ceiling off for that. So I'm going to avoid that. Not a big Courtland Sutton fan in comparison to the consensus. I think he'll be fine, but not as high as others. So it comes down to Kenny Goliday and Brandon Cooks. And both guys are the wide receiver ones for their teams. Kenny Galladay's situation is different because he is not on Detroit. He's with Danny Dimes now for the Giants. Brandon Cooks, love the talent, but the QB situation, big question mark. So it's between these two. Brandon Cooks has just done it for so many years where he's been like a top 17 guy when healthy, so many years in a row in different situations, different teams. Kenny Goliday, I think, can really pop off this year if he stays healthy, but even right now he's kind of banged up. So it's between these two guys, and I guess it comes down to, what do you trust more? Do I trust whoever Brandon Cooks' quarterback is going to be, or do I trust Kenny Goliday to stay healthy? And it's a coin flip. It really is for me. But I think I'm going to go with Kenny Goliday because I think in a healthy world, he is the alpha, just like Brandon Cooks is. But I'm hoping that Danny Dimes steps his game up and that, the complements in the system of a healthy Saquon, Sterling Shepard, if Evan Ingram's good, will actually help Kenny Goliday. So let's go with him in this spot and hope for health. Okay, so Brandon Cooks still on the board. Sometimes that's a good thing. We juggle between two guys, the guy who has the higher, ADP or the higher ranking. Sometimes you take that guy and hope the other guy falls, and that's pretty much what happened right there. And I like that. So I think we're going to go Brandon Cooks here for the reasons that we just talked about. All right, so tempted to take a guy like Justin Herbert right now, but again, when I'm looking down this quarterback list, Herbert, Brady, Tannehill, Burrow, Stafford, Matt Ryan, Trevor Lawrence, I'm fine with all these guys, really. If I can stack my team and then pair, any of these quarterbacks, and then later I'll take another flyer quarterback as my QB2. I'm fine with most of these guys. I think Herbert, Brady, Tannehill, are all guys that I have locked as top 12 guys, top 12. Burrow, Stafford, Lawrence, Ryan, can they all fight for that? Sure, absolutely. So why jump the gun on that? So I think we're just going to stack wide receivers just to see if we can get a good grade here. And, Will Fuller, I love what he did last year being healthy, but it was ironic that, he was healthy, but he was juicing up or something over there. Corey Davis got a nice opportunity with the Jets. Looks like him and Zach Wilson look pretty good together. I'm going to skip Landry. Not that he is a dud, but just meh about it. I love Laviska Shenault. all right, and what he can do, because Urban Meyer loves himself a gadget guy. And I think Laviska is that. I think he can, run the ball from time to time and line up out wide and then, shift to the slot. And really, I think Urban can get creative with him. I'm also a little bit nervous, though, about our running back room. So maybe we can grab a wide receiver and then grab the best available running back just to have some depth. But out of these guys here, whose ceiling is the highest? It might be Will Fuller at the end of the day, even though he's only suspended one game, but his ceiling might be high because we've saw the big play potential out of him. But I'm going to go with Visca right now. Does he have the chance to be the wide receiver one for Trevor Lawrence? I think absolutely. And I think Urban's going to be creative with his usage. Could Will Fuller be that guy or Corey Davis? Yeah, I think so too. But I'm gonna go with Visca, who I really don't have many shares of, and hope for this projection. He's projected higher than everybody else above, and I can kind of see why, as long as he stays healthy and the volume's consistent. We saw some decent games out of him last year. Let's go with Visca here. All right, so out of the remaining guys, running backs, Zach Moss has a good chance to be the leader there. They got Kenyon Drake projected the most for whatever reason. I do like Leonard Fournette, but it might be the case where, he's involved from time to time and more of a playoff guy. So let's go with Will Fuller because of the ceiling that he has. And again, opportunity to be wide receiver one in his system. So we got our quarterback, defense, kicker left. Let's grab the best available quarterback. Stafford, Burrow, Cousins, Ryan, Lawrence. So I think it's got to be between Stafford and Burrow. Let's see my rankings, what I had. I had Stafford at 12 and Burrow at 13, ironically. So if I'm going to stay true to my rankings, let's go with Stafford. And I think we should be optimistic that the connection to Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp and Higbee and Van Jefferson will be real. Joe Burrow's got the same, situation where he's got excellent weapons. Coming off an injury, though, I'm not going to say it's going to hold him back, but might be not as mobile as we want. Not that Stafford's, Lamar Jackson or anything like that, but maybe that first year off an injury designation will be the slight difference between these two. So we'll go with Matt Stafford. Okay, so let's just fill the team here. Defensively, love the Washington football team. They have a lot of former first-round draft picks all on one team. They just drafted a stud linebacker as well, so they keep adding to the team. Ravens got some nice young guys, Patrick Queen in his second year and some other guys there. Niners are getting guys back. Bosa's back. Kwity Payne's now with the Colts, and they got Buckner and Darius Leonard. But I'm going to go Washington football team. I think that defense has really been very interesting and really meshing together well right now. And then we'll see who our kicker is. All right, so Gold, Myers, Crosby, Carlson, Bagley. I think I'm going to go with Jason Myers. I think Seattle's going to score a lot of points, and he's going to be active. So we'll go with him and see what our draft grade is here. We got an A. Nice. I think last time was like a C. What I would change briefly is obviously if this wasn't my draft this weekend, I'd get more running backs. I went super wide receiver heavy, which is nice because there's a lot of flex positions to start. But I definitely think I'd take at least one more running back to be safe, be prepared for the bye weeks, be prepared for injuries, and have a running back floating somewhere in that first or second flex position. But decent teams: Stafford, Cook, Monty, DJ Moore, Higgins, Kenny Goliday, Darren Waller, Brandon Cooks, Visca, Fuller, the Washington football team D, and Jason Myers. So that's just a preview of drafting from that 2 spot.